Well, for more on this, let's bring in Charles Bly. He's a former anchor and reporter in the area with more than 30 years of experience covering storms in Florida, and he is in Tampa. Charles, thank you so much for making time for us this afternoon.
Yeah, no problem. It's always good to be with CBC.
Well, you sent us some video, Charles, and I want to bring that up because it illustrates why the impact of Hurricane Helene, which was just a couple of weeks ago, is such a concern as Hurricane Milton approaches. So we're in, I think, your car as you're driving here, and we're taking a look at all the debris on the side of the road. Tell us about what the area is like right now.
Well, what you are looking at is debris that is lining the coastal communities of the Tampa Bay area from Hurricane Helene, which, now get this, listen to this, was 160 miles away from shore. And this is the damage that it done. There was a massive storm surge, at least 9 feet. Some homes had 6 feet of water, which means everything was destroyed. We're talking about cabinets, furniture, refrigerators, ovens, all had to be put out on the side of the street, and that is what still is sitting there. Remember, Helene was only 10 days ago. So it's a very difficult to pick up that much debris in a massive metropolitan area like Tampa. And some of that is still sitting on the side of the road. So what does that mean? That means that in 120-mile-an-hour winds, that becomes projectiles, fatal, deadly projectiles that can take out cars, smash into patio windows, take out balconies, bust your door down, and let floodwaters in if there is a surge. And you guys have been listening to your meteorologist. I mean, and I don't know how much everybody in Canada knows about hurricanes, but when you live in Florida, you know about hurricanes, and it's all about where that the landfall is going to be with the eye. Mm-hmm. Anything south of the eye is going to get the surge. Anything north is going to get the weaker side of the storm. So for people who have property in the Tampa Bay area, everyone's got their fingers crossed that this moves south. We don't want anybody to get hit, but Tampa doesn't want to take a direct hit either. Jacqueline?
Yeah, okay, and tell us about where you are. I mean, I think you're outside your home there. I see it boarded up, so you've taken some precautions yourself.
Well, this is my neighbor's home, and he does this all the time. Are very serious when it comes to this stuff. I want you to take a look at what this says. This is just the board on the side of his door. It says, loot, die. And people mean it down here. The gun state. People have no problem pulling out a gun if you're, trying to take advantage of them.
Because people have evacuated, right, Charles? I mean, they've boarded out their homes, but many people have evacuated and left their homes.
The people on the coast have evacuated, Jacqueline. Yeah. In Tampa is about 30 miles away from the coast. So we are not in an evacuation zone unless you live close to the water.
Okay.
This is the historic district to the north of the city. We're very high up. We didn't have to evacuate, and most of the neighbors did not evacuate. They just boarded up. They're going to ride it out. This is my house, and we're going to walk up. You can see 104 years old, Craftsman bungalow. You can see that my stuff is, whoops. Didn't mean to touch those buttons on the side of my phone there. You can see I've got wood here. I've got wood here on my front windows. And I want to show you, that's my neighbor right over there. And you can see that they've got their windows boarded up over there as well. So everybody is boarded up, ready to go. And now it's just the waiting game.
And Charles, there's a lot of Canadians that have property in that area as well, who are watching perhaps this coverage from Canada. Maybe some of them have been in Florida during this time. But what do you think they should know?
Well, they should know that their property could be in jeopardy. If you have property anywhere along the West Coast, I would say from Pasco County down to maybe Fort Myers, depending on where landfall is. This is a very powerful storm. Last time we checked, it's a Cat 4. It's supposed to come ashore as a Cat 3, but that's still 125-mile-an-hour winds. That is enough to cause extreme damage. So if my advice to anybody in Canada with any sort of property here, if you have interests in Florida, and remember, this thing is so strong, it's going to cross the state and it's going to stay a hurricane. So the people on the East Coast, if you have property over there, that could be in jeopardy too. Here's my advice to you. Make sure that you have a neighbor, somebody that you have who lives next door to where your property is. I'm sure everybody has that. They have a key, they have your phone number, they keep an eye on your property when you go back to Canada. Make sure that they have taken video of the outside and the inside of your structure, if that's possible, for insurance purposes, because there is going to be damage. This isn't a child's play, and this isn't one of those passing deals. Remember, Helene was a Cat 4, 160 miles away.
Yeah.
This is not going to. So this is serious stuff right now.
That's good advice, Charles. And 125 miles an hour winds, it's 200 kilometers. Those numbers are just kind of hard to wrap your head around. Charles, we appreciate you making the time, and stay safe as well through this storm. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, and we'll see you. Hopefully we'll see you later. I'll have more for you as this starts to develop.
That would be great, Charles. That's Charles Bly reporting for us from Tampa, Florida.